Just going to give it a couple of minutes for everybody to come into the live chat. I know I don't give a lot of notice. That's why it's so important to hit the bell, guys. I just kind of get in where I fit in. I wanted to come on a live chat actually a lot earlier, but you know how that could be. One thing happens in another. I'm just pulling up my channel here on YouTube on my laptop right here. Hi, A.E. Amos. I'm glad you caught me, right? They're very sporadic. You know, I don't really have a schedule with it. So I'm glad you could make it too. How's everybody doing? Make sure you guys are hitting the like button when you're coming into the live chat. It really helps the channel. It helps push everything back. Okay, so the E is for Ebony. All right, I'll call you Ebony. I know we're all over the globe here. It's only like 2 in the afternoon where I'm at. Hey, Robert. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Hey, Shamila. That's awesome. Yeah, people reach out for me from all over. I should open my emails too. Maybe I might answer a question on here. It's so much easier for me to do it that way, guys. Because I always have a lot of paperwork to do with the coaching and everything. So, hey, from New York City, Robin. Let's see. I'm just opening up my CoachLakia Gmail email right now. Because there was someone that I've been meaning to respond back to for like the last 3 days. And I actually think that they emailed Lakia Crawford Books, because that's another email that I have here on the channel. I think that they actually sent the email through there. They did. It should be linked. Nope. How did it get unlinked? It's linked on my cell phone. They had a really simple question, so I'll give them an answer here, but, you know, I'll just reply back too, of course. Let's see what we talking about here. Hey, Cha-Cha, I miss you, girly. I see you on Instagram. Hey, T. I hope everything is well with you. You've been quiet. But I see you enjoying your new position, so that's good. You know, you have that Capricorn sun, so, you know, money is not going to be your problem this lifetime. All right. Hopefully I can guess this. I'm trying to get into my Lakia Crawford Books email. I should take that off so that everybody just done. Everything's good there. Hey, Maria. Aw. Really miss me? Are you want to kiss me? I'm sure you mean miss. All right, so they let me back in. I'm talking about Gmail right now. But either way, you guys see the title. It's been 5 minutes. I think that's like a good amount of time, right? I did let the support group know. So I always I won't say always. I won't say that because there have been times that I've gone live and not told the support group. But if you're a part of the support group, you will get that heads up 9 times out of 10. I'll let the support group know. So, yeah. So which one of these should we be talking about first? The feminine men? Ah! Cha-Cha says both. Aw, kiss you too, darling. Is that how they would say it in London? I've been watching, like, because next year I'm going to do a move, and I'm like so open to wherever the universe wants to take me. You guys have any ideas? I'm over here on the East Coast in the USA, and I'm like really open-minded. I'm like, I'm about to spin the globe and touch something. No, I'm not really that. No, I'm very calculated in that way. I will actually research my behind out, you know, and I want a good school district and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to be moving next year. I'm excited about that. It's just where, I don't know. I'm very open about that. But of course, you know, I want a good quality of life wherever I go. But I hear in London that the apartments are so small, Cha-Cha. They tell me that. And I watched several videos on it, and I'm like, whoa, that might not work so good, you know, for me. I need space. That's the whole issue now. I need lots and lots of space. So I really care about that. Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. I have date night tonight, so I'm kind of already a little bit prepped for it. You know, we're not doing anything spectacular, just, you know, spending some time together because we've both been working a lot. I know, you know, I have to come one way or another, even if it's just for a visit to London, because, you know, I'm very interested, and the shopping has to be amazing. Aw. Now, this person, I know your icon in your name because I see you all the time on my channel. I do. But the way that you write your username is kind of hard to shout it out. It's Mapner. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Sometimes a fresh start is good. Maria. Thank you, Maria. I see you all the time, though. So I recognize it, but it's like, and I'm pretty sure that you've told me that before. So you have to forgive me for forgetting that. But I guess we could start getting into some of the topics, right? Make sure everybody's hitting the like button as we enter. A lot of videos have been put up on my channel lately. You know, maybe we can talk about, you know, some side notes or whatever for anything that I didn't mention in these videos. So, you know, I've been playing around on the channel, and I don't even want to call it playing around, but just doing different things. But I have my own way of doing stuff. So hopefully you guys like some of the new formats, you know, especially doing all the pictures behind the audios rather than just the audio. Give you guys a little bit more stimulation and, you know, kind of help with the summary and putting the bulletins up. It takes a lot of effort, guys. It really does. Hi, Boomy. So when I talk about a topic that I feel like, you know, deserves to have that much effort, then I definitely will continue to do that. All right. So let's talk about the feminine men. Okay. This is, you know, it could be any level of narcissist that can be feminine, obviously. Let's talk about why that's a negative thing, obviously. I don't really know a woman that looks for a feminine man. But I think the feminine man will be more easy to spot in a lower range narcissist. You know, I think that range of narcissists. And as you can see on the channel, I've started breaking it up. You know, I'm starting to be a little bit more specific because we always talk about that spectrum and that scale with the narcissist. So nowadays I'm being more specific about low range, mid range, and like an upper range or a high range narcissist. Because there are some differences there. All right. And certain traits and behaviors would be more evident and prone, you know, depending on where they fall on the spectrum. But as far as the feminine aspect, to me, that's more of a low range narcissist. You know, when we look at the traits that come with that. And, this guy is going to be too much of a victim in life. See, the high range narcissists, they're more of a go-getter. They're not really so much of victimizing themselves. So I got to take them, they're less likely to be the feminine unless, they're like LGBT, you know what I mean? And it's just that, and that's something else, that's not them victimizing themselves, But the low range narcissists, yeah, they're definitely too much of a victim, and you'll find that they're trying to play off of the empathy of the codependent or the empath. They're telling you how their life has been horrible up to date, basically. And that's a red flag to me, and it has to become a red flag to you guys moving forward. Oh, thank you, Maria. Hi, Simready. Yeah, but Boomy is talking about it depends on how much they value their morals. Morals to me, that's not what I'm thinking about so much when I'm talking about femininity. We're talking about more like estrogen and testosterone per se, like the balance of that within a person, because everybody has masculine and feminine energy within them. But, when we have a healthy balance, we know how to, a woman will be more in her feminine energy, and a man typically would be more in his masculine energy. But yeah, the feminine man is definitely going to be too much of a victim. There's going to be indecisiveness on his part, and that might sound confusing to some people. Because the indecisiveness of letting others dictate what he should be doing. And that might sound confusing to you guys because it may seem like the lower range narcissist knows what they want and they're going for it. But really, how many of you have dated a guy that are a low range narcissist? We can make this unisex right here, that didn't want to make a move, that cared too much about what other people thought. That's why they have these masks and they're not going to be themselves. There's a few reasons for that. Of course, the low self-esteem, of course, and feeling unlovable, but wanting to be able to get their supply by being what other people need them to be. Okay. So honestly, there's a level of indecisiveness with this person. And all the inner turmoil, of course, adds to that indecisiveness. So this person is also going to attach too much emotions, or he's going to be overly emotional, even if it's not him crying, even though I've witnessed that too. But more so, in his anger, if anything, because lower range narcissists and narcissists, period, they feel more comfortable tapping into their what people perceive as to be negative emotions. But to me, none of it has to be negative. It's really what you do with it. Anger doesn't have to be a negative thing, but if it makes you run through the house like a tornado and break your own stuff and, just completely jump out of your logic, and, of course, then it becomes a negative thing, right? So, yeah, feminine men, it's very disgusting to me. And I wish I didn't get all these notifications from YouTube, but they will not let you like massively unsubscribe. You have to go in. And that's a part of why he can't be the man for you. Obviously because he's a narcissist as well, he's not going to be the man for you. But, just too in touch with the feminine aspect. Someone's saying, does a person's brain contribute to whether they're going to be feminine or not? Yeah, it does. Yeah, this is this person's psyche. Yeah, it definitely is the brain. Definitely is the brain. And then when we go deeper, especially, when they're talking about LGBT and stuff, they talk about chemicals in the brain and stuff that makes people more prone to one thing over another. But yeah, feminine men, I can't with that. As a woman who who wants masculine energy. You know, I have to have masculine energy personally, you know. They have to have a masculine energy. Yeah, but feminine men, you know, they complain a lot, but narcissists do that anyway. But yeah, they're definitely complainers. That's something else that I have here on the list with the feminine men. You know, and when we talk about somebody complaining, this is someone who's wallowing in the problem rather than looking for a solution, right? They want you to find a solution, right? They want you to be the solution, basically. That's what they want. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to mention here is differentiating between having knowledge versus wisdom. You know, I think narcissists have knowledge, but they don't have wisdom more than not. You know, unless we're getting to the higher range narcissists where, you know, their intellectual abilities are going to be greater. But the lower range narcissists is like they don't use the information in a way that will actually truly benefit them. And that makes them not have wisdom, you know. So, you know, narcissists have knowledge, but definitely not wisdom, guys. Okay. Another point, another thing, I'm just going down some things I wanted to bring up in this live chat. The duality of situations. You know, I want you guys to look at the duality of things, minimally duality, meaning, you know, something is not all bad. As far as when you look back at your situation with the narcissist, you know, if we look at it through a mind of duality, we're going to say, okay, yeah, I wish it didn't have to be such a harsh delivery, but, you know, did I learn something out of that situation? Did it improve me on any level? So was there any good that came out of it, basically? All right. So, you know, when you're able to do that, guys, is very helpful in your healing process, all right? Because you're not just, you know, fixated on the negatives of things, right? So let's start, you know, having more of a duality type of mindset where we can take the good out of a situation and leave the bad. That would be really perfect if you're able to actually do that. Take the good and leave the bad, right? Robert says something either went wrong during development or environmental factors or by choice in which there may be an underlying traumatic experience, which is a factor in mental illness. Right, when you're talking about the narcissist not getting the proper safety net from the primary caretakers and, you know, the acceptance and whatnot, and then maybe not even having a proper male figure in their life or that masculine energy, if you will, you know, that could happen as well. And yeah, the traumas. Yeah, there's other traumas that I'm not going to mention here because YouTube, they like to, you know, I'm not even going there with them today. But, yep, different traumas can make a man touch into his feminine energy more than masculine. Boom says the struggles with communication is lost now, but can still be valid by standard. But do solutions help go further? I gotta reread that. The struggles with communication is lost now, but can still be valid by standard. But do solutions help go further? I'm not sure what you're asking here, but I'll just tap on this last part. Do solutions help you go further? Yes, if you're willing to take action. You know, what's the point of knowing the solutions if you're not going to utilize them, right? That's that good advice that someone doesn't take, right? It didn't help them go further. So, yeah, so let's have the duality mind frame of things. The other thing that I had here was just talking about rock bottoms. You know, all of us survivors had to reach our rock bottom, right? Because we were addicted to that toxic relationship. So that's why I'm using that type of terminology. When I talk about these type of relationships, I do make them comparable to like alcohol addiction, drug addiction, all the other kind of addictions you can have, gambling, sex. It's all types of addictions a person can have. But, because our mind is releasing those dopamines, the relationship does become an addiction and that trauma bond that we have to break. And then often it's once we've reached that rock bottom. That's why a lot of us, went back to that narcissist so many times. We hadn't reached our rock bottom. And usually that has to be when we're just stripped of all our hope. Whether we want it to or not, like we had a tower moment and all the hope that we ever had is just gone. Not even the tiniest 0.0001%, it's all gone. Then you're at your rock bottom. But as long as you even have that 0.00001, that's dangerous. Even that tiny little bit right there, because they're able to slither right back into your life, and before you know it, things are back to the way that they were, and typically worse, because every time we go back and we haven't found our healing, of course, we have everything we've already gone through to sort through, and then all the new stuff, it's going to be getting added on to the plate as well. So, but, we all got to reach that rock bottom, because some of us are really stubborn about that. And beyond stubbornness, like I just said, the psychological aspect of things that keep us, stuck in that situation, But don't shame yourself, And I made a wonderful video about shame. If you guys are dealing with shame, and a lot of you may not even know that that's a culprit, in your healing process. I put this video out 5 days ago. I highly recommend that you watch it after the live chat. All right. So let's talk about dating the rich narcissist. Because they're not all broke, guys. And, I read the comments and I am not stigmatizing them. Some of you got it twisted with me. They're not all poor and they're not all rich, They can be any age, any sex, all of that, guys. So any location, any nationality, like, okay. So no, I'm not discriminatory. And I've actually dated at least one. I've dated at least one of them. But I'm going to just make this disclosure, and because I always keep it real with you guys when it comes to dating, particularly a rich narcissistic man, or let's take the narcissist out for now. Dating a rich man, period, is going to be so hard probably to find one that's not narcissistic. That might be challenging. And that's why, when you see women with these successful men, they tend to have an understanding about, what the trade-offs are going to be, and those trade-offs of accepting this guy's narcissistic tendencies, or, his toxicity gets this pass. And, entitlement, to me, it gets greater, because here now we have, you see the manipulation and what lower range narcissists do that have the smaller means, and they're looking for sugar mamas and very generous people that they could play off their empathy to support them and lift them up. But now we have a narcissist who has, the tools, the financial means to to flex that weight around. And we know how our society is built, around money. And if you're coming into the live chat, guys, make sure that you're hitting the like button. So, there's a lot of things that, I was able to dissect about my experience from dating this rich narcissist, and he was a millionaire. I'm just reading someone's comment that might be a troll here, and I may need to block. Let me just verify that real quick. No, femininity is not bad, Ariana. I'm not saying that femininity is bad, and I'm not saying that a man, I'm just talking about how it's playing out in a toxic masculine vessel, where it shouldn't be placed. And I'm not saying that women are indecisive, okay? I'm not trying to say that. And yeah, immaturity, that definitely comes with being a narcissist because they've been stunted. They're emotionally stunted. Yeah, I'm pretty mellow, Boomy. I'll take that. I'll take that I'm pretty mellow. I'm not high strung. Mm-mm. I'm not high strung at all. I'll be the person in the middle of a catastrophe, like actually being logical, like, okay, well, we need to take this exit. Well, I'll be like that person. I don't get caught up in my emotions so much. Maria says hers had money, but I dated more wealthy ones, and he hated that. Also, the others were not narcissistic. Yeah, but many of them are, and I'm just going to say that, many of them. No, I didn't say that you were trolling, Boom. I wasn't talking about you, honey. But yeah, a lot of them are, guys. And, if you're not making the money that they're making, just like any narcissist, they're going to have, act like they're better than you. And I feel like there's a control factor as well. Um, they may act like they're doing you a favor. And if you're like severely down, like meaning that they make like a crazy amount more than you, they're using you for their emotional punching bag anyway, but I really feel like, they'll be more inclined to do it then. They're definitely going to underestimate you. They must be better than you. They have more money. They went to a better college and, all of this other stuff. So, um, elitist type mentality. And I think some of them really date underneath them, like, like the billionaire that marries the waitress just to, continue that looking down upon and, this, oh, I'm thankful you rescued me out of the trenches, it makes them feel more high and mighty. They're probably going to be workaholics, because most people aren't building wealth sitting on their bum. So they're probably going to be extreme workaholics, if anything. It's like beyond just a regular, blue collar worker that's working doubles every day, like extreme, like just obsessed with making more money. And the one that I dated, it's pretty interesting because he was stingy and not stingy at the same time. And I know that might sound confusing. That might sound confusing. But I think he was like so concerned with hoarding his money more than anything. He'd hoard it and he wants to add to it. And he was constantly like calculating things, you know. And he would like brag about saving money on the most cheapest things. Like, here's a guy with no children, a millionaire, and he says, "Oh my God, I went to Wawa. Wawa is a store on the East Coast, tri-state area, New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania. Either way, it's a convenience store. They have gas stations too, whatever." But he would brag, "Oh my gosh, I went into Wawa and I got 2 eggs because they sell prepackaged boiled eggs. I got 2 eggs for $1.20. It might have been less than that, honestly. But he would brag about his breakfast costing, $1 and something. Like he was very he watched every penny. He did. But then when he made times for me, there was sparing no expense. So we would go out to like five-star restaurants. We would have weekends away. So, there would be time where he would let that wallet open, but it was a time and a place for that. And it was a very limited time and place for that on top of that. And even with that, it was an investment to him because, he's trying to find a wife. So to him, it's like, everything is very, even more so calculated with them financially. Like, just because they're rich, it will not mean that they're generous. Like, as a matter of fact, most of the rich people that I know are very to the penny about things. They watch their money, And you might feel like dating a man like this, you might feel like they're pushing your boundaries. But because they have the money, they may feel like they get a pass on things. That means, pushing you past your comfort zone, maybe making you feel pressured, but once you hang around Lakia, you get that emotional maturity. No one could do that to you per se, but even if they're insinuated, it's going to be like a shield that can't penetrate you. But either way, men like this, they expect women to drop them draws quick, so to speak. Like they want it when they want it, their sense of entitlement is that much more because we know how it is in societies, when the man that has the money and everything, when they have that, they tend to be able to, they feel like that comes with being able to, have that control factor that I was talking about and being bossy and having people bow down to them per se. And you may feel competition if you had low self-esteem and you dealt with this man trying to prove your worthiness, like you trying to prove that you deserve to have this type of guy. And, there's usually other women, You see how the lower narcissist is when they broke. Okay, y'all see how many girls they have just with their little supposed gift of gab, and I won't give them that. I can't tell them they have the gift of gab. They're just lying, and pretty soon it blows up in their face anyway. But imagine, there's a lot of women out there who are mistaken, But at the core of a woman, we want to be protected and provided for. So this man knows that. He's like, I can protect her and provide for her with my money, And, a lot of women are okay with that. They're okay with that, but it's not usually going to be emotional protection, Usually not going to have that. And then, there's the double standards, right? And that's the entitlement. Like, okay, yeah, I can cheat on you. I can have women. You give me a threesome when I want it, type of thing. And they be flirty but you better be, loyal and all this other stuff. So, it may not feel like a partnership for sure with the rich man, and then obviously not when they're narcissistic. But I think the ones that underestimated, the rich narcissistic men that underestimated the women that they marry and didn't do that prenup, and she got them, and it's not a lot that they can do. They get got to, all right. They get got to, usually by another narcissistic woman that knows how to play her part and get them to like really underestimate her. Hey, Shirless. Hey, Life of Destiny. Maria says, I'm independent. I'm educated. He had money, but jealous of my education. Yeah. Aw. Well, Life of Destiny, you can, what time? You can go to my website, lakiacrawford.com. She says she need a coaching session. Go to the website and schedule one for yourself. If you want a time that's not listed there, just email CoachLakia@gmail.com and we can work it out, okay? The Teller 55 says narcissists have abnormal amygdala. Okay, she's talking about a part of the brain here. And prefrontal cortex plus environment and childhood abuse contributed, mother and father. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Vacant Souls. And Vacant Souls is a new channel on narcissistic abuse. Maybe you guys might want to check it out. She has, like, you know, a little more, you might like her delivery of how she talks about narcissistic abuse. Yeah, Maria says she's co-signing it. A lot of them are cheap and write everything off as a business expense. Right. Cheryl says, consume with money they work themselves until, yeah, until 100 years old. Yeah. Yeah. And emotionally unavailable for sure. And that's what eventually ended that relationship that I had with the rich narcissist that I dated. Yeah. It just, I couldn't deal with the emotional unavailability. It wasn't good enough for me. Maria says, also a banker. Many act rich, but in reality, in a lot of debt. Yeah, right, right. And you've seen that all the time in the studies. You know, someone that could be making, and this isn't even rich. Someone could be making $250,000 a year. That's not rich, by the way. But they could be making that and break even with a person that's making $25,000 a year. Honestly, depending on how much debt they have and how they are utilizing their money. So. Queen of Success. It's possible. It's possible that you can get a session today. I don't know if the website, let me go on the website and see if it would let you do it. Hold on. Let me just see, because I have it set up to where I would at least get a 4-hour notice. And that's why sometimes people just email me with sessions sometimes, because I won't let it go through the website at the last minute because I do things. But let me see if you were to book a 1-hour session, what it would let you do. Nope, it will take you to Monday. So, Destiny, you can email me about a coaching session today. If you want a 1-hour coaching session for today, you would PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App me $125 USD. And then just email me and we can do a session sometime today. But just inbox me, and that's fine. Summer 80 says, I'm so happy my first time catching your live. Yeah. The site, it doesn't look like the site will let you book it for today. So if you want to do it for today, I'm still willing to do it after the live chat. Just go ahead and set it up. Send the PayPal and email me. Let me know what time zone you're in. Shirley says, hi, Lakia, continue to enlighten us. Love you. Boom says, it takes a narcissist to make a disciplined remark on a situation, but it's all about trust and agreement to each other, whether or not money is involved. Yeah, money is a part of the equation as well, because it doesn't have to be the number one factor, of course, but, you know, it's a part of the equation because it costs to live in civilized, you know, in the civilized world here. Aw. Yeah. Yeah. No problem, Life of Destiny. Look forward to hearing from you. So, what else can we say about them? They're probably like some of the most judgmental people, you know, because they really think, they're really feeling themselves, you know. So judgmental. Yeah. So we talked about the double standards and all of that. I kind of like breezed through everything I wrote down on here. I kind of just get to the point, don't I? Let me pull up that email that someone sent me a brief question that I did want to answer to them in case they're watching here. And I'll send you a quick, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think, that other survivors could take something from it as well. Okay. All right, I think this is the person right here. I'm crossing my fingers. And Anna, if you're watching the live chat, sweetie, I haven't forgotten about you. I'll be reaching out to you soon, and I actually have some really good news for you in particular. So I haven't forgot about you, sweetie. Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm just going to paraphrase her question because there's so many emails here. I didn't want to paraphrase. I really didn't want to paraphrase it because a lot can be said about, the words that a person chooses when they're describing their situation. I use all of that to really give me the insight. All right. I'm hoping this is. Either way, this young lady was I'm trying so hard to find it. This young lady was dealing with a politician and the relationship is over, and I'm just, drawing off of that initial read. The situation is over and she wants to out this person. She wants to let everyone know what he's involved in, which is some actually illegal stuff. Things that could really get him in trouble. And she feels like, he has everyone convinced that he's one thing that he's not. And she asked me if she should tell on him, if that would be in her favor. Absolutely not. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Absolutely not. And I believe, there was like a huge age gap. She was really young and he's a lot older as well. Absolutely not, sweetie. I would take my lessons and let him, every dog has his day, possibly. It could be possible that he takes this stuff to his grave, but chances are he's not operating alone. She was saying that, he was dealing with a lot of prostitution, he was doing that. Girl, I said no just because a lot of them are like that, honey. I know it's the world that we live in. A lot of them are like that. My real concern was her safety, honestly, because when people have, when they want to keep that mask on, they'll do anything. And if they feel like they could cover up hurting you or making you disappear, anything like that, I would be thinking more of that. Like if I had dealt with someone and I knew like some deep, dark secrets that they are very vested in keeping a secret, I would be thinking more about my safety than trying to out this person. So, I'm questioning your emotional maturity right now and understanding the person that you got in bed with, or you made that connection with this person, and maybe underestimating who you're dealing with and what they may or may not be capable of. So I would not do that. But it's been my general advice to not blow the whistle and try to tell the new supply. And in this case for her, telling the media about it, I would have a huge concern for her safety. And honestly, by outing him, you could possibly be outing other people that may be very pissed off about it. So just for your own safety, I don't see where it would benefit you at all by trying to save the day. And you would surely end up being a sacrificial lamb. And you've gone through enough in this situation. Like I said, I would just take my lessons. I would take my lessons and keep it moving. And, it sounds like she's in revenge mode. She wants to, get back at him because she's feeling that injustice. And you might want to watch my video on injustice as well. Or, how to get justice in situations where you're feeling the injustice. Because you probably have some anger here to work through. But no, do not try to tell on him, and don't try to, comfort him in that way, because now you're stepping into the ring in a way that you weren't before, and I don't think you're ready for that, or the possible consequences that could come from doing something like that. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys have, let me see here. I was going to make a video on this, Stoicism. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. It's kind of like from philosophy. Does anybody know about Stoicism? It's just really about helping you guys change your mentalities from worry, basically, to, learning how to dwell in a state of tranquility. That's what Stoicism is about, like being tranquil, being calm, being peaceful, even when things, yeah. Cha-Cha knows. So, yeah, maybe we can talk about that. I had a printout. So it comes from ancient Greek, guys. It's a concept that comes from ancient Greek. And, philosophy, when we even break down the word philosophy, philo means love, right? And philosophy is wisdom. So it's a love for wisdom. All right. And basically the whole idea is to live and die well. So the Stoicism is they're attributing this. There's a few people they attribute it to, but the main person is someone named Seneca. All right. And they said he was a philosopher who held an important position in the Roman Empire. And he wrote a series of letters to his friend Cyrenius to help free his mind from anxiety and worry in a stoic way. Okay. So let's talk about some of the concepts of that, because, if you're able to like adopt this type of mentality, you'll be that person in the middle of chaos that's calm and serene as well. You'll be more tranquil. Okay. So I had a printout. Oh, all right. So I have 10 Stoic teachings here that we can go under. Some reason when I stapled it together, I put page 2 first and page 1 underneath, but it's here. So basically, we're talking about the art of tranquility in a nutshell. All right. And then I'll probably edit the title of this live chat so that if anyone's looking for information on this, you know, they can listen and get to it 51 minutes in, right? So the first thing that I have on here is about not wasting precious energy. You know, it's about focusing on our own journey and not too much on the external. Now, let's just stop here. Does that mean walk around being absent-minded and not, you know, taking in, you know, information that you need to be taken in about, you know, things in your environment? But, you know, this might be more actually could tie into what we were just talking to about that girl and the politician. You know, she's taking her precious energy now to go on a journey of seeking, you know, making it her business to out this person. So to me, that's going to be wasting precious. That's a quick example of wasting precious energy. You know, precious energy could be going back and forth with someone who's obviously just in it to argue. They're not really there to find a solution. This is the narcissist we're talking about now. So I want to tie this in, you know, as this channel mainly talks about narcissistic abuse. So when I go through each one of these Stoic teachings, I want to, you know, make it make sense with narcissistic abuse if I can. So I'm going to try to do. All right. So yeah, we got to stop wasting our precious energy, but we need to understand when we're doing it as well, right? Because a lot of times when we're actively wasting our precious energy, we're kind of ignorant to it. So, you know, increasing your emotional maturity, considering the source, really thinking in your logic. When you start to put forth energy to do something. All right, so focusing on our own journey, that's going to be a part of not wasting precious energy. And then how much more productive are we going to be then, right? I'm thinking that's in a nutshell, like what that's going to boil down to. Number 2 is strive to see the positive. And we kind of touched on that in the beginning when I said about having that duality. You know, it doesn't mean that we can't acknowledge what didn't go right. It's important to acknowledge that as well. But the positive thing is, you know, there could be a solution for it. Okay, it didn't go right when I did it this way, but next time, you know, I can do it this way to avoid that or minimize that from happening to me again. All right, so strive to see the positive in situations. Because you can't have hope, right, if you're just always saying the negative, right? You're just going to feel defeated. And there is an energy that comes with that negativity. All right, number 3 is doing less. You know, the narcissist ends up doing the most, right? And sometimes we do the most too, and we need to learn how to do less. We can tie that right back into what we were just talking about. I'm telling her to do less, you know, unnecessary words, unnecessary actions, useless affairs and activities, right? Being frivolous, learning how to say no. That's a part of doing less. And, you know, all of these things are kind of interconnected. And when we think about the number one, which is not wasting our precious energy, we learn how to do less is actually doing more, especially with someone like the narcissist. Doing less is always going to be doing more. And honestly, in one of the videos that I was going to make, I guess this would be more of a humorous video, like 3 things that get a narcissist's attention when you're doing less. Because when you're doing the most, they know they still got you. They know they still got you. You're just way too interactive. You start doing less, you start withdrawing, you start pulling back. Yeah. Yeah. And a part of doing less is learning how to say no. Simplifying, this all goes with doing less. It's like, okay, they say the quickest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So why am I doing all of, making an octagon and putting in a whole bunch of unnecessary steps, if you will. All right. All right. Number 4 is to consider, what if this was your last day? Okay. What if this was your last day? And that's just saying, like, death is close. Don't waste your time. All of these things are interconnected, but what if this was your last day? Would it still be important to you to be doing this, to be dwelling in that energy? So, it's not for you to be paranoid. It's not for you to be negative. Oh, we're going to die. It's not from that angle. Okay. It's not from that angle, but it's just to be more meaningful about things, to be more purposeful about things, really savoring the moment. It actually, when you think of what if this is your last day, it helps you to be more present, doesn't it? It helps you appreciate the present more, I would think, if you were like that. Right. I understand, Summer 80, and especially when you're healing from a trauma. Every day is not sunshine and lollipops, right? We have those moments. This is what you want to get it down to, moments. You don't want it to be days. When you get to a healthy part in your healing process, it's not going to be days. All right. So that just means that you have, you're still on your journey to get into that sweet spot. Oh, hey, Sasha. And I remember, Sasha, you're the first one that I mentioned this to about the Stoicism. And you already knew about it. Oh, hi, Diana. Yeah. Yeah, we're just hanging out. So, yeah, we're talking about just, being more. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the Stoicism, or the Stoic that I mentioned to you a little while ago. So, yeah. But yeah, what if it was your last day? So, as we get older, at least, you would think there would be more emphasis put on legacy, more emphasis put on being more purposeful, Now, number 5, let's go to that one. And this is wonderful. I already derived from these things and I didn't even know it, right? So number 5 is, you're stronger than you think you are. Change your interpretation of the situation, right? To empower yourself rather than, victimize yourself per se. And I talk about this a lot. So, and that was the video that I made. The number one interception, or, the number one thing that gets in the way of survivors is having the wrong perception, like a very toxic perception. And oftentimes, not only is it toxic, it's not true, because we can focus on something toxic that really happened and it can be true. But 9 times out of 10, when I'm hearing the stories that you guys are telling yourselves, is not even the truth. You're making it your truth, right? But if we can change that interpretation of a situation, or we can see where, okay, what I always say is, your experience with narcissistic abuse was to help bring you back to yourself. The narcissist is what? Exploiting some of the cracks in the foundation, of your inner core, of your inner essence, if you will. So if you change it to that interpretation, as opposed to all these other things that we come up with, now it comes, it's about healing. It's about empowering. It's about uplifting. It's about illuminating. It's about self-discovery all of a sudden, isn't it? That's better, isn't it? That's a better way to look at it. And you are stronger than you think because you're here today, right? After all of that stuff, you're still here today. Boom says, I have anxiety a lot about my ex, but I do good things. I love to help me not. I do good things. I love to help me not think about it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, anxiety. Yeah, the thing with triggers, if you're talking about triggers right now, triggers can be minimized and they could actually be eliminated. It's possible to eliminate a trigger, but if you do number 5, change your interpretation, But obviously, if you're fresh out of something, I don't know how long you've been since, this has happened to you. And Boone says, and sometimes I overthink about it too much and have a headache and it's worst feeling ever. Yeah, because what we think about magnetizes, right? And then we get something called tunnel vision. And then when that gets bigger, everything else in our life gets smaller, and everything else is actually the good things that we could be appreciating and being present about. So that's the danger of letting things rent space in your mind. Yeah, see, 3 years is a long time ago. And if you're still having that issue, that means whatever you've been doing in your healing process has not been sufficient. Because 3 years is plenty of time to have made a certain kind of progress to where, you shouldn't feel like it's still devastating your life. Sometimes we get stuck in the healing process or in a grieving process in one of the stages. Maria said, I had anxiety. I went to a therapist and it saved my life. Yeah, I highly recommend that all survivors do get the therapy, honestly. And many of them don't. And, the YouTube videos are all fine and good, but, that one-on-one therapy is priceless. So, to get specifically to what you need, the videos that I make, I try to make them general so that more people can relate to them than not. Therapy is specific to you. So, that's something you want to give yourself. I did it, so I don't tell you guys to do things that I don't do. I had 2 therapists that I went to actively for a year in my healing process. So, aw, welcome, Care Bear. I used to love watching that show. Loyalty says, what's the normal healing time on NPD abuse? Well, it's not set in stone, honey, but most survivors need a good 12 months, 12 to 18 months. A good 12 to 18 months. That's good. So as long seeing improvement is a good sign, Boom. Okay. Well, sometimes we need that, Maria. Email me, Summer80. Aw, thank you, Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha has gotten plenty of coaching with me. Life of Destiny says, it's been years and still not healed. I feel like I can't ever heal due to having kids and being in contact. It's hard. Yeah. You can. And we'll talk about it later. We'll have our little session later and we'll talk about it. All right. All right. Let's go to number 6. And number 6 is about knowing yourself, all right? And number 6 says, know what you're designed for. What gifts do you have to share? What is your purpose, basically? And what should you be sharing with others? All right, so it's saying to get into that. And that's usually a peaceful place for someone. When you're really in your passion and your gift, you can just do this for hours and hours, and it won't feel like work. It's very true. All right. Why did I mix this up like this? The next page says number 11. I must have been tired. I must have just grouped these pages together and stapled them, right? The first 2 pages look right, so I'm like, oh, they must be in order. Number 7 is to never complain. Instead, find solutions. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? Number 8 is live happy anywhere from where you are today. Now that one is like a big time right there. And, I definitely co-sign that one heavily. Learning how to have gratitude today. A lot of people put off their happiness. I'll be happy when my credit score is 800. I'll be happy when I live in that zip code. Or, I'll be happy when I lose 100 pounds. I'll be happy. It's always like something to put off. But, if we go back to what number was that? Number where it was talking about what if it was your last day? Number 4, what if it was your last day? So learning how to live happy now and be present now, helps you be more effective in the now. You're not too invested in the future, and you're certainly not too invested in the past either. It's a happy medium. Like now is all we really have, honestly, right? Now is really all that we're promised. None of us are promised tomorrow. None of us. So, enjoying the now, guys. And I say this when I just see beautiful survivors come into sessions with me and they're just so heartbroken over, this toxic person. And yeah, it wasn't nice. It wasn't kind, but they're just so, they're just still seeing the cup half empty. The person is gone, the relationship is over, and their feelings are hurt. I understand that your feelings are hurt from that experience, but you have so much to live for, so much. And a lot of times it takes a while to get them to see that, So, learning how to live happy from where you are now is so important. And I've adopted that in my life. There have been times in my life where I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. And I experienced some things, and I was able to really get through those moments and be extremely peaceful and still prosperous and all of that. And people wouldn't have even known the things that I was going through behind the scenes, because the way my outlook, I chose to focus on other things. So, find solutions. And what was the other number here? Number 5, changing your interpretation of a situation. Because it really could be worse, guys. It could be a lot worse. So number 9 here. Don't be a person that's tit for tat, basically. Don't live your life expecting praise. Do things from a level of sincerity. So in this one, they're just saying being of service, not get used, not get used in a negative light, guys, but be of use. And these can be positive distractions, if you will. If you are feeling like right now your voids are just filled with your hurt and your pain, okay? So be honorable and have purpose. It's okay to do something good. You don't have to announce it to the world, so to speak. So be honorable and be of service. All right. Number 10 is understanding that happiness isn't having everything. Like, who has everything anyway? No one would be happy because nobody has everything. Everyone, has a cross to bear, guys. Everybody has a cross to bear. There's not a perfect human being. So, maybe this person has a lot of money, but then they struggle with their health. Like, it could be something. There's something in their life that, they have to work on. And that's why we're waking up every day to, work on these things, guys. So those are the 10 things that I have here on the list, and I'll just go ahead and just say them again. Basically, focus on your own journey. You know, so we're going to be staying in our own lane there. Number 2, strive to see the positive in a situation. Number 3, learn how to do less. You know, stop doing utilizing unnecessary energy, expending unnecessary energy on things. Number 4, be mindful about death, you know, and that doesn't have to be dark and gloomy and negative. Number 5, learn how to change your interpretation of a situation, especially if you are a negative Nancy, okay? If you're always seeing the cup half empty. Number 6, find out what your purpose is and share it with the world, okay? Number 7, oh, must be back here. These in here out of order. Stop being a complainer and find solutions. Number 8, learn how to live happy in the now, today, right now, this second. Number 9, stop being a tit for tat. You know, basically right now, that's about your ego right there. You don't need to be praised for being a good human being. You can do kind acts privately. You know, you can be of service without, you know, being used in a negative light. And learn how to have positive distractions, if you will. And to me, how are they positive distractions? Well, I guess, like I said, if you're filling a void with your hurt and pain, the positive distractions would be to go out and give to others what you want, you know. Number 10 is know that happiness isn't having everything, you know, and see where that just doesn't even, it's not logical, right? Nobody gets everything in life. Nobody, guys. So, oh, I have a couple more in here. Looks like I have 12 things. Hold on. Oops. I have a few things. So I must have started out right in 10, and I thought of 5 more. So we'll just go ahead down those. Number 11, don't rely on hope. Wishing in vain. And that's just still more about focusing on a present moment and living in the now instead of the future. You know, I hope this happens, but, you know, you could be actively doing things to help you get there, you know, because it's not like a surprise. Oftentimes when someone ends up being successful, they're planting seeds and they're watering it every day, you know, or they're watering it when they're supposed to. They're taking action. They're not just hoping for something. You know, it wasn't miraculous. You know, they did something. All right. Number 12, this is a biggie. I'm so glad I seen these extra pages here. Choose your friends wisely, right? You know, friends should be uplifting and not a burden in your life. So we know what the narcissist was. You know, they should be, a real friend is a blessing to you, okay? So I think we throw that word around very easy in this world. Like, you're extremely blessed if you have 2 friends, all right? So you might need to really evaluate or reevaluate who's really a friend and who's really an associate. You know, your coworkers are not your friends. I don't care how many times you guys hang out, how many things you guys do outside of work, they're still your coworkers. You know, we have to understand, you know, where people are. But a lot of times when we're healing from codependency and we're that empath, that toxic empath in my mind, you know, don't know how to balance their emotions. Everybody's their friend. And then we have to learn the hard way how very untrue that is. Okay. I'm just reading some side notes here. Okay. And a negative friend could revolve your life around negativity, you know, when we're making someone a friend or we're trying to put them in that box and they're really not. and their attitudes and their energy can become contagious in your life, right? And if they're toxic, they're going to take contentment in being negative and complaining. So they're not finding solutions. And that energy starts to come onto you, right? Number 13, don't worry about other people's opinions. The original. Don't wear a mask, if you will. So opinions are just that, opinions. And I've said this in other videos. Opinions aren't facts, right? Number 14, balance solitude and crowds. That's a big one right there to me as well. That's very important. One relieves the other, so do some of both. You know, there's times when we're just too much in hermit mode and we need to get out. And then there's times when we've been out too much and we need to, you know, take some time to ourselves. So one does relieve the other, like it says here, and learn how to balance them both, okay? And wisdom lets you know which one you need to be doing in any given moment, all right? So you got to be in tune with that. And this is for real, the last one I have on the list. It says, give your mind relaxation, okay? And Seneca suggests meditation, all right? And I definitely co-sign that. And maybe I'll put a link below this live chat. There's a YouTube channel called Good Vibes, and some of you might know about them, but they have high frequency therapeutic meditating music for everything under the sun. I'm telling you, if you have thyroid issues, they have a video for that, you know? So they have for stress, they have it for all areas of life pretty much. So you can go there and find the videos that resonate with you and listen to it while you're sleeping, and then listen to it while you're up and actively meditating. And I've shared that link with the support group a couple times as well. So I think it's a great thing. They have almost like 1 million subscribers. So, and this is the good thing about that. I think what makes it a plus going to a channel like that, and they're not paying me to promote them. I just happen to, you know, like the work that they do. Is you are tapping in to energy, to like energy. So if everybody listening to that video for whatever it is, and both of you and all of you, not both, because it's a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of you are setting an intention on that, you're tapping into that energy with them. It's kind of like a whole network of people that are meditating on and setting intention on that same thing and wishing everybody well. So I'll go to the videos, I read the positive comments, and you're tapping in to all those energies. And it's like, to me, it makes your intention stronger. You know, that's how I see that. So to me, that's like the biggest plus to doing it that way. It's increasing the strength. And that's why people will say, hey, can you pray for me? Is more people, when they're actually really setting that sincere intention, it's increasing, you know, the vibration. It's increasing, to me, the momentum behind, you know, whatever, you know, you're desiring or that you're trying to manifest in your life, okay? And, you know, I utilize candles as well, and I use different colors for different things. And I made a video called Spiritually Cleansing After Narcissistic Abuse, where I kind of talk about that candle work that I do, you know, but a white pure candle is good for basically anything, you know, any intention that you're going to set. So I'll usually light a candle when I really want to zone in on it along with the meditation. And then every time I look at that candle, you know, I'm thinking about why I lit it. So it helps reinforce, you know, that energy. And then thinking about what I want as opposed to what I don't want to happen, guys. And I focus on what I want, the desired results that I want to have. All right. I'm I'm always printing out a lot of cool information just all over my desk. If you guys see my desk, I put a picture up on a support group and it was like papers everywhere. And I'm telling you, it really was papers everywhere. Simready says, I just have so much peace at home and not ready for people yet. Okay. Well, if it's peaceful to you and, you know, if that's where it feels like you should be right now, then be there. You know, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't be doing that, you know. All right. So, guys, it's 3:30. I have some paperwork here on victim mentality. But I think I spoke about that. Let me go over my last, let's mention up these last videos. Yeah, I think we could do that. Oh, that's good. I'm sending those good vibes out there. So I made, guys, I'm just looking on my YouTube channel on the laptop right now and just looking at the last several videos. This week I did upload quite a few videos and a lot of people aren't getting those notifications, guys. So make sure you're revisiting. When you revisit the channel, just check which bell you hit, because now there's like 3 different bells that you can hit. All right, so the last video that I put up was picking up the pieces, and this is more in quotes because a lot of survivors, have that feeling of, I have to pick up the pieces all by myself, and that's not fair. So in that video, I was just talking to you guys about why it's actually a plus, and this is in alignment with the Stoicism, isn't it? Learning how to interpret a situation from another angle and seeing the good of it rather than the bad, So I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to add to that video that I may not have addressed when I put it up, because I pretty much, laid it out there in that video. But just overall, being happy to, take the control, because a lot of times when we were with those narcissists, we were being passive aggressive ourselves. So now I'm picking up the pieces, I'm being assertive, So there's a theme of assertiveness that we can put here. Shifting from being passive, from letting other people have the power and control, to being assertive. So that's something that I can add that I didn't talk on a lot in that video, really. If I did, it might have just been a sentence, but just really like making that clear. In the video, I talked about another angle, but there's always a lot of angles that we can find in a situation. Hello, survivorship, and welcome to the live chat. So before that, guys, I made the cutest little video. Isn't it cute? The one that says 50 lessons learned by a narcissistic abuse thriver. Yeah, I enjoy that. I didn't listen to that video several times myself. And honestly, what I would have you guys do with that video is listen to it and actually read it out loud. Read it out loud, the 50 things, because they're affirmations. They're affirmations, guys. And so I see a lot of survivors really appreciated that. I would keep that video, in your back pocket and be a video that you can revisit frequently. It's basically full of 50 affirmations, positive things that you can speak into your life and just say it with all your heart. Okay? And I love the music. Just something to know about me. And this is kind of off topic. I played the clarinet from the 4th grade to the 12th grade, and it really gave me a huge musical background. So I was in the orchestra, I was in the concert band, I was in the wind ensemble, I was in the marching band, and I have like such a great love for music, and this was really fun for me to be able to, put some soothing music that I really like, You know, that music is very relaxing to me. So, yeah. Yeah. I want to get back into playing the clarinet one day when I know I gotta, my life is so full. The name of the video is 50 Things I Learned from Narcissistic Abuse. But if you just go to my channel, Survivorship, and you look, you'll see that it was uploaded 2 days ago. You go on there, go into my videos, they're put in chronological order. You'll be able to see, you know, the latest updates, okay? All right, so before that video, I put up my part 2 to the women who date low-range narcissistic men. Okay, and that was a follow-up to my part 1. And it seems like you guys really like that topic. I don't know if there's more that you want me to say about that. You know, a lot of people took an interest to that video. So please feel free to watch that video if you know, dated these low-range narcissistic men. And they are a mess, honey. Yeah. Yeah. Aw, thank you, Vacant Souls. So, and before that, we did the high-level range narcissist as well, because I didn't want to leave them out. So I got to do the mid-range ones next. So I'll be doing them. Now, I put up the shame factor, and this is my second time mentioning them, but just because we're going over the videos, I really recommend you guys watch that. That one, you know, that's some really good shadow work for all survivors. Then we talked about narcissistic girlfriends, and not in a dating realm, more like friendships. You know, girls that are friends with other women and they're narcissistic. Just watch like Basketball Wives, okay? Watch a show like that. I'll tell you. And then before that video, I put up this 53-second video. How to devastate the narcissist in less than a minute. And then I tried to make mine in less than a minute, you know, just kind of match it together. And you guys really watched that one as well. Almost 2,000 views on that so far. And it hasn't been a week. All right, I did one to define codependency, or what a codependent is. For those of you who don't know what that is, you go back to that video. And at the end of it, I link the other ones as well. But you can heal from codependency. You know, that's the one thing that I want to say that I didn't say in the definition of healing it. I mean, in the definition of defining it. All right. And, you know, I feel like, you know, that one didn't get so much views, but honestly, it's one of the root of the issues. So it should be one of the videos that you guys need to be watching, honestly, and really understanding it, because, you know, that's at the root of a lot of these situations. All right. It's at the root. Sometimes I feel like survivors aren't given the attention to where we should be. You know, understanding codependency, that is so important, guys. That is at the root a lot of times of the issues. All right. Then several videos before that, I did one on stop getting dumped. You know, how survivors, you know, they end up being the ones in the position of getting dumped time and time again. You know, and I'm not saying, you know, that being dumped is a bad thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know, someone leaving your life that needs to be leaving your life, a toxic narcissist discarding you, is actually a good thing. But, you know, I'm just suggesting in this video that if you learn how to take heed to the red flags and, you know, respect and honor your discernment, listen to your gut instincts, and just literally see what this person is offering you, and having higher standards and more self-love and self-worth, you're going to be the one, you would have been the one dumping the narcissist every time. 9 times out of 10, the only times it might not have happened is when they just like ghosted you after love bombing you. You didn't see that coming, you know. But if you've gone through a cycle of abuse with them, is why I pointed out in the video, when they're starting to devalue you, that would have been like your intercept right there. Whew. All right, guys. Well, we've been on here for an hour and a half. I pretty much touched on the topics that I wanted to touch on today. I always like to say thank you to everyone, you know, that chimes into the live chats and that just supports the channel, period. You know, great ways to support the channel is to always hit the like button, you know, when you're watching videos and chiming in and stuff like that. I do have the support group over on Facebook for those of you who want to join in on that. That link is below all of my videos. Just inbox me and let me know that you're a survivor. I always direct you guys to my website for scheduling your one-on-one session with me. And I do voice calls and FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp, you know, whatever. We'll figure out the medium that we would use. We do email coaching because writing is very therapeutic, guys. And then on the website, you can find out about all other things that I have available. The books that I've written, that's a great way to fill the void and get additional emotional maturity and pearls of wisdom. I'm gonna have to like do something where I like just highlight the books because I feel like you guys are missing out on these. They really are amazingly awesome books. And if any of you, and a lot of you have actually read the books, but not enough, you guys really want to check them out. They're available in ebook, and you can get hard copies off of Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. But they're actually available on my website if you like signed copies. Cha-Cha, did you read it? Did you read your copy because you bought it? Did you read it though? I want to know if you read it. It's really good. This is the first book that I ever read, and it's my fave. They're all my fave, but I really like them. This is the X Factor Volume 1. And this is really great. Like all of my books are kind of a progression. They're a progression. This is good for the person that's either still with the narcissist or freshly on a discard or in the beginning of the healing process. That's what this book is good for. Because it's basically the purpose of me writing this book is to help people see that breakups aren't the end of your world. You know, there's like a general negative stigmatization to breaking up with someone in life. So this book will help you, you know, have a different view of that breakup. All right. And the way that I do it is really cute. The first half of the book, it's like 75, something's in the middle of my throat. It's like 75 original poems that I wrote. And these poems are about toxic and chances are narcissistic relationships, okay? And then in the second half of the book, I take every one of those poems and I break them down where I talk about what's going on relationally in that poem in case it flew over your head. And I give the solutions to those relational problems, you know, or the toxicness, you know. So it's really awesome. Like I was reading it the other day. I was reading that and The Beauty of the Eye. I was like, wow, like, you know, it's just something that I'm really proud of. And I want more people to read it because there's a lot to get out of it. A whole lot more than what meets the eye. Okay. The second one is the runner-up to that book, is the X Factor Poetry Edition Volume 2. Now, this book is good for someone who is doing their shadow work. So now, let's say you've had the breakup and you've had time to think about what happened and what went wrong in a relationship. That's what this book is good for. Now we're talking about what happened and what went wrong inside of me. So this book is very self-reflective. You know, it's very self-reflective here. All right. And it's revealing your inner shadow work, or, you know, the toxic aspects of yourself. But this is the beautiful thing about this book. You know, as you go through the book, it's like a journey. You're going on a journey with the writer, which is me, right? But by the end of it, you've done a certain kind of work, and you're feeling lighter, and you're feeling cleansed. Like, it's really beautiful, and you're actually starting to believe in love again. You're seeing the positive of things. Your heart is like a feather, you know, by the end of this book. It starts out pretty heavy because now you're just left with yourself. You're facing yourself in the mirror. But by the end, oh boy, your heart is like a feather, like I said. So this is really great. And I always, you know, I try to recommend that you guys read them in order. So we dealt with the relationship, and we've dealt with ourself. Now, as we continue down the journey here, we get to the beauty of the I. And now that we've dealt with the relationship and ourself, we're dealing with our environment. We're dealing with our environment. So this book is very clever, very clever. And it talks about things that aren't always obvious to the eye that's happening around us in our world. So, you know, our emotional maturity should just, you know, obviously go beyond romantic relationships. We need to understand the world around us, period. So this book is really good for that. A lot of beautiful work in here as well. And if you go on my channel, I have a playlist. A playlist, I believe it's called Lakia Crawford Books. And I started this playlist over a year ago, and I haven't put anything in there recently. But I have inserts of these books where I'm reading some of the work that's inside of it. And the fourth book I don't have here in front of me. These are just extra copies of the other ones. The fourth book is Silent Tears. And that book is written for survivors of sexual abuse. So, you know, a lot of times people aren't getting the proper healing with that. And it could be 30 years later and they're finding that, you know, it's still very devastating to them. So I wrote that book, and it's written by a survivor. Okay. And you know, I thought it was necessary because we go to the doctor's office and we get the pamphlets and they just give us the cold hard facts, right? But as a survivor to other survivors out there, I know that that's not what we need at the time. You know, we kind of need a warm embrace, all right? So this book is written from that angle, and there are exercises inside of it that I have, therapeutic exercises to just help you release, you know, release that hurt and that pain, and to make sure that you're having the right perceptions, or your interpretation of that experience is one that's not going to just leave you feeling victimized for the rest of your life, but one that allows you to be able to detach from, you know, what they did, and who you are, what you're worth, versus how they treated you and how that made you feel about your worth initially, right? So just really working through all of that, guys, and getting to the point where you can have a healthy sex life again, and you can, you know, move past that experience and still feel whole again, and all of that good stuff. So that's why I wrote that book. And it's good because you can do it in the privacy of your home. You know, a lot of people don't feel comfortable talking about that type of experience. And that's one of the reasons why I do offer the phone sessions. You know, some people don't, they feel better when it's just over the phone and not like the FaceTime where they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. So, you know, the book, though, it gives them that much more privacy. They can read it and go at their own pace. You know, there may be times when you need to stop and dissect some of what I may said in that book and sit on that for a little while before you progress to the next session or section of the book. And, you know, I was really happy to do that book too, to help validate people and their experiences, because I've spent a lot of time reading statistics on that stuff, and I see, you know, how few of those situations get reported, and how even fewer of those people are being held accountable for what they've done. So, you know, I definitely understand. So anytime someone who's been there and done that and who has done the work and has come out on the other side, can write it and, you know, reach back to pull somebody else up. So that's something else that you guys can check out for those of you who it applies to. And honestly, a lot of times we might not even know that the narcissist has done that to us. You know, it may take, you know, our emotional maturity to even understand what someone has done to us after the fact. You know, we get confused with gray areas like, well, I gave consent before, but I didn't this time. Yeah, well, you know what? That's still a rape, or that's still an offense. That's still someone crossing the boundaries. That's still abuse, okay? And that's traumatic, all right? So that book is definitely there for anyone that wants to look into that, all right? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this live chat. And I don't know if anyone who hung in there for the whole live chat? I want to know. Who's down with me like that? Who stayed from the beginning of the live chat to the end? Did anyone do that? Aw. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Gina. That's amazing. I know you guys have lives. I'm just always curious. You guys really ride for me, and I appreciate that. I have a lot of very loyal listeners, and I appreciate that. If it's anything that I could do to make the channel better, if it's topics that you feel like I don't address enough, or, you know, anything like that, you guys can email me. You can leave comments below the videos. You know, I'm always open to, you know, listen to what I could do to make the channel better for you guys. All right. I'm here at your disposal. That's the whole point. You know, I went through a lot, and anything I can do to help somebody else feel better about it, because I know how it feels, honey. I know how that feels, but I also know how it feels to, you know, come through the other side and move on with life. Yes, I can. And I actually have a video. I have at least one video on that too. I do have at least one on here. Let me just Google it. Because, you know, I have like 600 videos on the channel now. So forgive me if I forget some of the titles sometimes. But I did do one. But let me tell you what happened. That video came out a little weird. Like, the content is amazing. But for some reason, when I did it, I did a forward face like now. It wasn't a live chat. It was a video. The words were like not catching up with the video. So when you listen to this video, don't watch it. It'll throw you off. It will really throw you off, because you'll be stuck on the fact that my mouth is moving faster than the words or something. But the video content itself is so good. And because of that, I didn't want to take it down. And I didn't know how to fix it anyway. I'm like, how can I, you know, because it wasn't a separate entity. It wasn't like I did the audio and then I made a video. It was just the video. But for some reason, it was a lag. You know, that's what they call it, I think, a lag behind the words. So let me find out the name of that video for you before I go. It's called Narcissists at Work. And it was uploaded 7 months ago. And you guys were so nice to me in the comments. Like, no one complained about it. But I put it in the beginning of the description section. Oh yeah, 607 videos now. So I passed the 600 mark. So it's literally called Narcissists at Work. So anytime you're having a hard time finding that topic of mine, the easy way, if you're not using a playlist, is just go on to YouTube search and say Narcissists at Work, Reflection and Progression. It'll pop up. It'll be the first video to pop up. Okay? But like I said, don't look at my face and listen to it because there's a lag and that might be annoying. Aw. I did say I was going to do 2 live chats. I did say that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that now because I covered so much in this one. But you never know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm not sure because I do have to go somewhere. And now that I'm putting a session in today as well, a lot of times I don't do sessions on the weekends unless it's an emergency. Or it really depends. It really depends. That's why I say, if you want a session with me during a time that I don't have available on the website, just reach out to me and you never know. You never know. Usually I will work with people. Usually I'm pretty accommodating. I'm pretty good like that. But yeah, I did say I was going to do 2 today. But honestly, I was expecting it to be 1 hour and 1 hour. So I feel like I kind of did the 2 in 1. So. But just if you hit the bell, you'll be notified, sweetie. Or you're on a support group, so I'll post it there as well. I'll be like, okay, I am going to go on again. So I'm not sure. I don't like to just come in and suck up air. So if I do come in today, maybe I'll take one of the upcoming videos that I was going to do and turn that into a live chat instead of, making a video and uploading it. That's a possibility. I can just talk about one of those topics. I keep a running list. I always keep a running list, guys. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm going to go ahead and hop off this live chat. And I'm trying to pull out my email. Destiny. I gotta see what's going on downstairs. Destiny, sweetie, I'm going to reach out to you, okay? Other than that, what do I say at the end? Whether it's a live chat or video or anything, right? Never give up on yourself, guys. Continue to do the work. And until next time, please take care.